Jérôme, another tough game coming up against Falkirk. Is that these the types of games that you want to be playing in?
Yeah. We are football player for this game. It's a big game against a big team. So let's see what happens.
Obviously Falkirk are sitting top of the league. Do you enjoy these high pressure games and coming up against good sides like Falkirk?
Yeah, it's a good game. We have done 3 games against this team and we done well. So let's see the next one.
You've obviously had a good run with plenty of clean sheets. I think that's 12 in the league this season. You've had a consistent back four. How has it been playing behind the back four of a mixture of Knotts, Brandon, Gowser?
Yeah. Sometimes the gaffer changes the team, but we are only one team, and every player is okay. It's good to play on the back four, and it's okay.
Obviously, Jack Hamilton's came back in January as the second goalie. How's it been to work with Jack?
Jack is a good guy. It's a pleasure to train with him every day, and it's a good guy. Does
that add a wee bit extra competition? Jack is a good quality goalkeeper. Does that keep you on your toes?
Yeah, of course.
What's the aim for you and the squad for the remainder of the season? What are you hoping to achieve? Are you looking for more clean sheets?
We want more clean sheet, and we want to be the best defense in our league. So we will try to do it.
Davey, it's a weekend off with the Dunfermline game being moved. Is that beneficial or detrimental to your plans for Tuesday?
Not really off, so I think this is probably the first game we're coming into on the Tuesday when we've not played the Saturday, so it's been games we've been into Saturday fixtures, but we've been playing the Tuesday, so it's actually nice to have that kind of benefit, the extra day's recovery, to be fair. Falkirk play Saturday, it's not ideal, but in terms of when you're playing against a team that's maybe not had a weekend fixture, so no, I'm looking forward to it. We're not really off, we're in working, we've not got a game, but the boys will be in working, so it allows us probably me, Neely and Chipper will go to a game, Neely will go to a game and I'll go to a game, so it lets us get eyes on other opponents. There's only so many games anyway, so I think Chipper's going to go to the Falkirk game on the Saturday. I'll probably head down to Morton Queen's Park, and then Neely will be going somewhere. So it allows us to get eyes on opponents. Maybe Neely might go to a Broth, watch Andy Winters, something like that. Allows us to go and maybe get a game and watching one of our players. You've got wee Lucas, you've got Sam Culbert, so there's another games we can go and see. But I'm looking forward to get the weekend off, go to a game on the Saturday, no game, and then preparing for the Falkirk game on Tuesday.
With there being no game, is that a much needed rest for the guys after a busy schedule?
I felt so. I gave them a wee bit of time off after the Airdrie game, and I was swaying whether to do it or not, but do you know what, I'm so glad I did do it. So the boys got some time off. We treated this Tuesday coming, the Falkirk game, we kind of went into a Saturday schedule. So your 3 days, day off, train, game. So that's kind of how we worked it. So we worked it back away. So we'll be in Monday training, preparation for the game on the Tuesday, off the Sunday, and we'll be in Saturday, Friday, and we were in yesterday. So try to get that working week schedule into Tuesday's game. So it's been a really tough fixture list in terms of the schedule, but that's through competition, isn't it? That's through being successful in other competitions. So it's where you really want to be. But sometimes it's nice to have a wee moan about it.
So it's disappointing not picking up the 3 points on a Saturday. Was there any positives to take away from Saturday?
Positives, I thought we created a lot of chances. So again, I think it's important that you do look at the positives. It's easy to get bogged down in the negatives. Divine right just to go and win games of football. They're fighting for their lives. I think you could see that. Scored 3 goals away from home. I just felt draws have probably been our Achilles heel this year. That's where we've let ourselves down slightly. In terms of draws, no scoring enough goals, no getting that goal to go and win the game. So 10 draws, there's 8 points if you use Falkirk. Because I think we've took 7 points off Falkirk and I've took 1 point off us. So it's not hard to see where the problems have lay. So I was pretty pleased that we managed to score 3 goals. It's probably the first draw that I could probably put down to defensive errors. We've lost games due to defensive errors as a group, no defenders, just as a group we've lost games of football. But I think it's the first draw this season where I could probably go defensively. We should have done a wee bit better as a group and we would have won the game. The other draws you're probably looking at going, we just never took our chances in the final third, or we never created enough chances in the final third. So there is positives within that, and it's important that I focus on them. It's important that I point them out to the players, but it's also important is that nobody beat the last 9 in the league.
Yeah.
So again, I think you've got to take that as a massive positive.
Obviously it's Falkirk at home next. What are you expecting from John McGlynn and his men?
I think he'll be a wee bit stronger. I've heard the comments over the last couple of days. Big, strong, physical Livingston. If you look at the game that the players that they put out in the park in the game at Falkirk had a big back three and 2 big strikers. So they were big and aggressive themselves. So I think he'll change it slightly. I don't think he'll change his shape. I'm not really bored if he changes his shape, to be fair. So I think it's going to be a competitive game of football. It's going to come down to 8 points in the game, your 1v1 duels. But we're more than capable of doing that also. They're a big team. They're now playing, they've got good height and strength across their back four, and they've now moved Henderson into a midfield position. They've got Barney Stewart, they've got McIver up top. Barney's probably a wee bit more physical than McIver in terms of the physicality and height. So, big physical team that can play. Very, very similar to ourselves.
Just touching on individual players, Davy. Muirhead has been put forward for signing this season on a few sources. Coming in this summer, you must be pleased with his contribution this season.
I spoke to Robbie about it. Robbie's bided his time to get himself into a starting 11 on a week by week basis. Robbie's probably one of them. He's not an out and out winger, so you're trying to then get him into. He came to us as a winger. Does that make sense? He played right wing with Morton, but Morton's part's really, really tight. So it's really again style of play types of things like that. You're not maybe building the game through the thirds. So Robbie was picking the ball up. So when he came in, we knew we were going to have to try and be a wee bit creative in terms of he's not an out and out winger 1v1 type player. Trying to get him into in between the box, in between the 18-yard box, try to get him in that kind of wee half inverted area. So it's took him a wee while to get to grips with what we're looking for. He's stripped his body fats. When I signed him, he's lazy, he's overweight, he's came in, and I think he's just really kicked on month by month. I think there's been huge improvement in him, and that's due to Robbie. He's a great boy, brilliant boy off the park, great lad. The boys love him in the change room, staff love him. I love him, man, great personality, but he's worked really hard at his fitness, so he's stripped his body fats down a wee bit, well, a considerable bit, and I now think he's getting his just rewards for that. I think I now could see Robbie playing as a 9, he's back to the goal. Probably never seen that when he first came into the club due to the aspects that we just spoke about. But he's got a lot of good characteristics, a lot of good traits to his game. He's not an out and out winger. I see him probably in the future with me, I would see him playing as a number 9. I would see him as a number 9 for Livingston Football Club, but a boy who can play a couple of different positions in different shapes, but definitely the more central you can bring Robbie into the game, I think the more impact he's going to have in the squad. But obviously it's horses for courses, you can only do what you can do at times, but I think there's a big shout for him to be signing this season. I think he's been a big player for us, but what I will say to people out there, that's not just luck. That's no luck. He has put the hard yards in this season. He has put the hard yards in to get himself in this position. And I'd love nothing more to take Robbie Muirhead to the Premier League with Livingston Football Club, because do you know what, I want to see him getting a shot at that again. Had a shot in his early years with Hearts, but I think he deserves another shot at it.
We touched upon it earlier, Davey, about potentially being better defensively, but that defensive unit's probably been outstanding for the season. How important is it to have Jérôme between the sticks and the back four?
I think when we talk about the back four and Jérôme, we've had this with previous teams, Liam Kelly, Neil Alexander coming away with clean sheets. I think Jérôme's sitting in 12 clean sheets in the league. But it's no Jérôme, is it? That really comes to the top end of the park first and foremost. So we talk about the clean sheets and defensively, I think we've got, there's not a million miles, but I think we've got the best XG conceded in the league, and I think somebody had said in all competitions, maybe not so much now right enough, but in all competitions the best in Scotland. Again, that probably lends itself to show you the problem's not been at the back end of the park, the problem's been the top end of the park in terms of we've got the best defensive record, but we still find ourselves sitting second in the league. I think if you can get that side right, then you've got a better chance of getting that side right, but it's getting the balance, isn't it? It's getting the balance, but I think whoever's played in games, I think it comes from the number 9. So the defensive record, the defensive shape comes from the number 9 and our distances and how compact and how intense we are off the ball. But Jérôme, I think there's an argument that he's been outstanding, signing of the season also. Ryan McGowan, I think you could argue Ryan's been outstanding signing of the season. Danny Wilson came in a wee bit later on, but I think since Danny's came in, got his fitness up, got a wee bit of an injury, came back. I think Danny's been outstanding since he's came back. So there's a real argument for probably 4 or 5 players in the team. Macaulay Tate's came in, I think he's been outstanding. So, but for consistency over the course of the season, Jérôme, Gowser, Danny, since he came back in, Robbie, Boobsy, since he probably got in your team on a week-to-week basis, I think he's been outstanding. So there's a lot of good traits, but I do believe that defensive record comes from your number 9.
Just on the defence, Davey, we've been seeing Jamie Brandon at right back. What's the thinking behind that?
Jamie's really aggressive going forward. So there's Jamie. Jamie was a right back. Jamie is a right back. I think if you were to look at probably the 3 right backs, or 3 that you could class as right backs at the football club, Dan, Notts and Jamie, they've all got different characteristics. Notts played a huge amount in his career at right back. This is what people probably don't see. You go and look at and speak to Notts, he's probably played 150 games at lower level League 2 in England. So there's 3 right backs, 3 boys that are comfortable playing at right back, but they've all got different attributes, I feel. Jamie's probably the one that's more aggressive, playing in the front foot going forward. So there's certain games that I feel that it suits maybe Jamie Brandon. But then that comes down to what it is we're trying to do in the midfield area. So there's certain games I feel suit Jamie Brandon in there with Macaulay Tate and the other, or Jamie with another 2. So it depends on the opponent, depends on the surface, depends on how we're going to approach a game, and it depends how we think the opponent are going to approach our game. So when I look at games and we dominate a lot of the ball, or we should dominate a lot of the ball, I think it lends it, and it's a true surface, I think it probably lends itself to Jamie at times. Away from home, going against big physical strikers, maybe playing against 2 strikers, I think you could put Dan or Notts in there fairly comfortably. So it's just football. It's just football. I like Jamie at right back. Probably prefer him in the middle of the park if I'm honest. But bringing Macaulay in's allowed us to utilise Jamie elsewhere. So it gives us a wee bit more flexibility. It allows me to adapt to the opponent and adapt to how I think the game's going to go, and then I can then look at it and say, right, I think this game suits this player, or this game suits that player. It's a wee bit similar to the left-hand side. If you look at the left-hand side, we've got Clarkey, wee Robbie and Chris. They've all got similar different attributes, different characteristics, but sometimes form, sometimes injury, sometimes suspension will dictate who plays where. But you've got good options in wide areas in terms of Chris can play up one, wee Robbie can play up one. Do you know what I mean? So there's good options, but it's about utilising your squad. Try to keep everybody happy, but ultimately what player do I feel benefits that game? So what is the challenge this game's going to bring to us, and how are we going to play? Now how we're going to play is not really changed over the season, to be fair. Now hopefully fans can see that. But it's what what challenges is this game going to bring us on and off the ball, and then it allows you maybe to look at who the personnel within the team.
Just away from the games, Davey, and not looking too far ahead, but we've only got 100 tickets left for the Trust Trophy final.
How many have we sold?
2,900, I think.
Amazing.
2,800, 2,900, something like that, but I think there's only 110 left, I think.
Hopefully we can get that uptake. For me, right, and fans will be sick of hearing me, and this isn't for the fans that come. See the fans that come every week, they're brilliant, right? So this isn't having a dig at fans, it really isn't. See if we could just add, see that 3,000, see if we could just get another 1,000 along to our games. The difference that this would make to this football club would be astronomical. It would be huge. I mean, you look at it, Hamilton have struggled as they've come down the league's fan base. We've kind of struggled a wee bit, fan base. You look at these bigger clubs, Falkirk, Dunfermline's, Raith Rovers. I feel we've got the catchment to increase it, to get that fan base. How can we not be around similar levels? And I think selling 3,000 tickets for a cup final is fantastic. I love it. It's going to be a great atmosphere for us. But on the flip side, you go, how can we not get a wee bit more of that in a match day? Yeah. How can we've got 2,200 seats in the main stand, how can that not be full every match day? So, delighted, absolutely delighted, right? Put myself under a wee bit of pressure here. I hope, and I'm going to do everything in my power to go and lift that cup, because see out of the 3,000 people, there's probably every single season ticket holder there within that 3,000, I would imagine. But I would imagine, right? So you've got all your season ticket holders, so you can't increase that, that's done. But see if we can just capture another 50% of the ones that aren't season ticket holders. The difference it would make to this club is incredible. So if I can make that experience a wee bit more positive for these people coming up to these games, hopefully we can see an increase in the footfall in the match days, and hopefully that leads to selling out the main stand on match days, because fans are football, they know, Dave. Fans are football. Yeah. You go away, right? Been to cup finals in COVID. It was brutal. It was nice to be. It was brutal, right? You go away and you play Queen's Park. It's not great. I would rather play at Lesser Hampden on a Friday night than Hampden on a Saturday. If you look at the two atmospheres. Yeah. Fans make football. Fans make football, and I speak about it all the time. Seeing the player makes a bad pass and the fans are game a wee bit. That helps me. It does. The player's not just listening to me, he's getting it a wee bit for the fans as well. Seeing the player goes and makes that tackle and the fans get off for it, that helps everybody. Yeah. So see the more fans you've got, I genuinely do believe the more fans you've got, it should hopefully, if you're all pushing in the same direction roughly, it should hopefully lead to a better product on the park, because I definitely do think it helps the players. Are you looking forward to Tuesday night? You personally?
I always look forward to the football.
Aye, so do I, but I look forward to this a wee bit different. See, when it was the St Johnstone game, we knew they were bringing, we know we were going to be quite busy. There's a different buzz about the place. Yeah. The atmosphere within the stadium is so much better. So much better than you're looking at. It's going to be busy. I love the Old Firm games. I love the Aberdeen, Hearts and Hibs come here, and we've got our fans, they've got their fans. I don't care if it's 3,000 away fans. The atmosphere that generates within the stadium is fantastic. Yeah. Fans are football. So, digressing massively there, but see if we can just capture 50% of the fans that are going along to Falkirk Stadium and get them back here on a match day for the run into the league. It would be incredible. Remember the playoffs? The playoffs were amazing. Remember we had to open that far gate and the fans came in? I think it caught us all by surprise. There was queues. What we probably captured there was Hearts, Hibs, Rangers, Celtic fans that are Livingston based that thought, I'm going to watch my local team try to get to the Premier League. But the difference it makes in football is incredible. It's incredible, and I think it has a massive effect on the product, on the park. One, financially, but two, the atmosphere within the stadium.
Just finally, Davey.
We've ran out of memory.
We've ran out of memory, but we'll still ask it anyway. Finally, Davey, Crystal Palace are the first club in the UK to offer an aftercare programme to players it must be good to see clubs making an effort with the younger players, and maybe suggest there's still a wee bit to go in terms of football and what we can.
I think life, not just football, right? It comes down to money, finances. I believe the academy systems are a wee bit flawed. I do. When you look at the percentage of kids coming through that academy, bursting young kids' dreams. But if we really have we got the resources to pick that up? I don't think we have. And realistically, yeah, I'd love to be able to do that. So I think it's brilliant. I think we would all love to do it. And believe it or not, right, there's probably a bit of aftercare happens here in terms of the relationship with the player. So a player maybe leaves. Every one of us are still available, probably more so Andy. The amount of players that Andy keeps in touch with that have got niggles and knocks that phone him. So there's probably a little element of the aftercare still there in terms of relationships you built up. It's just not officially done via the club. But I think to do it properly, you would need the finances and resources to do that properly. And the most cynical part in football, right? People want this, and I think we should want this. But see, the only thing that really matters in football, in professional competitive sport, and it's hard, is the product and the part on the Saturday.
Yeah.
You could go and spend, I'll use Motherwell as an example. The year they spent £1.2 million in their park. Incredible, eh? That was for Motherwell Football Club. But they never started the season that well. I can remember reading the fans going, I don't want a £1.2 million park, I want a win on a Saturday. So, by taking resources for here to put it elsewhere, and then the product in the park diminishes, you probably cause yourself more problems. Yeah. But is it something I feel maybe a PFA, I don't know, I don't know what's out there to be honest, but is it something an independent body could look at potentially, but we do provide as a group, staff, a bit of aftercare with players. Like the amount of players that I've moved on and found clubs, me personally, phoning clubs, phoning football managers, phoning chief execs, have a look, go and get this boy in. So there is a wee bit of an aftercare goes on anyway, players moving elsewhere. Here's one for you, Hakeem O'Doffin. I was away through to a meeting at Hamilton on a Wednesday that year. Remember Big Hakeem?
Yes.
Probably looking to move him on. Big Hakeem was a great boy. I went along Hamilton, but Hamilton were training. I wasn't there for the football. And I was having a meeting with Ronnie and Colin. I think it was just after COVID, maybe just before, I can't remember. Anyway, going down to see Chipper. Chipper was the manager. I said, oh boy, going to his training session. Go down to see him, Chipper, and boy, see you. So, way down, they're training, we're in the same league as them. It was a wee bit awkward at the time. Chipper's like, oh, how are you doing? Bang, way down. Talking away, say, what you shot? Oh, desperate in a right back. Desperate. I said, I've got a big right back at the club. Who? I said, Big Hakeem. Oh, I don't know a lot about him. I said, well, I'll get him. I'll go and ask him if he can come in. I'll let him train me for a week. Chipper, after day 1, day 2 for me, I'll take him. Hakeem went in. He's now playing football in the English champ. Or he was playing football in the English champ.
They're selling for money as well.
But they utilised him more as a centre mid at that point. But he's went on and had a half decent career. And that was just through, probably not so much aftercare, but it was aftercare at that point. The amount of players at Chipper, Potsy, Neely, Marv, there's loads, Doogie. There's a lot of aftercare goes on at clubs. It's maybe those documented where you're constantly trying to help players. I'll get players that have been here 5 years ago text me, can I come in and train? Of course you can, come in and train. Oh, I'm struggling for a club, do you know anybody that's looking for a centre back or a right back? Aye, right, leave it with me and I'll see what I can do. So there's probably a lot of aftercare goes on within the club. It's just no documented, if that makes sense. But is it something as I think, psychological side of the game, and the aftercare is probably areas that we all need to do a wee bit better in. But again, ultimately, it's life. It comes down to resources. And it shouldn't, but it does.